If you've seen the film Trainspotting, which has its 30th anniversary this year apparently, you remember it starts with the tearaway Mark Renton, Ewan McGregor, being chased down Princess Street, high as a kite, and running from more than just the police. And these words racing through his head: choose a life, choose a job, choose a career, choose a family, choose a bleak big television, choose washing machines, cars, compact disc players, choose wondering who the bleep you are on a Sunday morning. Choose sitting on the couch watching mind-numbing, spirit-crushing game shows, sticking junk food in your mouth. Choose rotting away in the end of it all, nothing more than an embarrassment to the selfish brats you spawned to replace yourself. Choose your future. Choose life. But why would I want to do a thing like that? High-speed questions from someone who knows he's made for something better, but he doesn't know how to reach out and find it. St. Paul, at a much slower tempo, he's not high like Mark, he gives us a much more thoughtful kind of reflection. But he too sees himself as conflicted. He sees in himself this split between who he is and who he wants to be, between what he believes and how he acts. And he marvels at this, and he says, I don't understand my own actions. For most of us, at least at times, that is uncomfortably familiar, I think. So he acknowledges that there's a fight going on inside himself, where he's contending with something that isn't him, but sin and the powers of darkness pulling him down in spite of his best efforts. For I do not do the good I want, but the evil I do not want is what I do. So he says, something's going on in me over which I don't seem to be in control. Now, you could look at that statement and say, well, that's just a cop-out, that's an excuse. But Paul's not saying that. He's not letting himself or us off the hook to just do what we want. He's saying we all need to wake up to the reality of the fallen world of which we're part and face it and name it, but then consciously seek to live in the new life of our Redeemer. Because like Zechariah says this morning, this Redeemer is here to free us from our prisons. So when you wonder, like Mark Renton, who am I? Who am I becoming? Or you're tempted to answer that question or feel that sense of emptiness with any of the brand new things that were constantly being offered to make us happy, when any of that is going on inside us, Paul says, choose Jesus, who rescues us. Not knowing how or what to choose is what Jesus is challenging his disciples, his listeners about, I should say, in our gospel. John the Baptist came neither eating nor drinking, and they said he has a demon, he's mad. Jesus came eating and drinking, and they said, look, a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. They're lost, like sheep without a shepherd, just as Jesus said, and they don't know what to do or who to follow. In the Old Testament, God says to his people, see, I set before you this day life or death, good or evil, therefore choose life. And Jesus tells them he is the way to life. And he says he is the choice that's going to give them and us a peace beyond all understanding. So, if we're burdened with painful thoughts about a past which we probably cannot go back and fix, or anxieties about a future which none of us can know, Jesus says, come to me. Let's bear this burden together and see how my love will lighten the load. I don't have to bear my burdens alone. So Jesus says, if you want to know how to choose, come to me, choose me. St. Augustine, a deeply conflicted young man who struggled with his own life choices, he wrote, "You have made us for yourself, and our hearts are restless. Our hearts will know no peace until they rest in you." Here is a place where we can find that rest. As we stretch out our empty hands at the altar rail and we choose the one who is always choosing us. That's what we mean when we say our Amen. Because he calls you by your name and he draws you here. We're not here by accident. We're here drawn by the Jesus who says, "Come to me," by his living Spirit at work in you and in me. So we come to him with everything that's going on in our lives, whatever burdens we need to share with him, just as I am, like the hymn says. We come to the one who says, "I am come so that you may have life and have it more abundantly." So here, at this altar, and every morning when we open our eyes, we choose Jesus. We choose life. Amen.